Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 16, episode 6, and we're back today for our first ever knockout game in the Champions League. It's the last 16 and we're visiting Borussia Dortmund, a side that are littered with world-class players, but are also suffering from a few injury and suspension problems. We've got a little bit of difficulty ourselves, although not too much to our first choice 11, so I'm hoping we'll be able to push on and be strong today and do well in Europe to match our current domestic form. But if we start on the Premier League table here, have a look at what's going on. I'm lost for words. We are 11 points clear, albeit the teams below us have a game in hand, but Manchester City are starting to drop points and I'm really thinking this could be our year. Luckily today we've got an FA Cup tie at the weekend, a tournament we of course won last season, so we're not too worried about that this year, and as a result we can play our first team against Dortmund and then play a completely backup side at the weekend. If it had been before the Premier League games, as the Borussia Dortmund second leg is, we might have to think a little more carefully. It will depend on where the game stands after this leg. So we're going all out to win it away from home. If we don't, the second leg is just before the Manchester City game in the league and there's no chance we can play our first 11 there. So if we don't manage to do the job tonight, we're not going to be getting through in Europe. So either way it's going to be a fantastic experience, but I'm not sure it's going to end in the way we'd hoped. And that's the reason we're back for the first leg on this occasion. Normally we show the second from these sorts of ties, but this game is going to be so important because if we do lose it or it's close into the second leg, we're just going to play our reserves in that one. We want to make sure we win the Premier League, as I don't know with the opposition we've got that we're going to get a better chance to do so. So let's go and have a look at the schedule then to see what's been going on since you were last with me. And the long and short of it is we haven't lost a game, 22 unbeaten in all competitions. We got that notification after Saturday's game. It's been a fantastic run all the way, and despite a very quiet January transfer window without any improvements to the squad, we continue to do very well and outshine the rest of our opposition. So you were obviously with me last time as we played Chelsea at home in the Premier League, a fantastic controlled 2-0 performance, and although all the games we've had since then are ones you'd expect us to win on paper, we've obviously had to go and do that, and to the large part we've managed to do so. So the first one was a draw away at Middlesbrough. That was on Boxing Day, a little bit of a tough one, but Lee Rutherford getting what turned out to be a crucial point. He came on and scored in the 90th minute in a game where we were largely terrible. Then at home to Bolton in the FA Cup, complete reserve side again. Two of our homegrown players, Ray Probert and Richard Quirk, scored, still sulking unfortunately the right back, and then Daniel Kozzel off the bench with a third to see us comfortably through to the fourth round. Then into January starts a run of 6 Premier League wins on the bounce, and we started to look a bit more convincing. You can see a 4-3 and 5 in there. Bakinez, Omar, Kozzel and McDonnell, none of the strikers getting a goal this year. We've really struggled up front. Andrade's in a massive goal drought, and I don't think Rutherford scored since that Borough game, and Opoku hasn't scored either. So 4 defenders and midfielders getting on the score sheet there, and then Rutherford did score against Sheffield United. I apologise to him, it's not as bad his goal drought, but he still has been struggling since. Then away to Newcastle, again 3 of the midfielders, Keita, Sousa and Kozzel in that one, before a disappointing 2-2 draw at home to Norwich, and Stuart John the youngster got us out of trouble again. And I've got to go and show you this. You remember last season he made his debut and he scored that screamer against Arsenal. Well, he got his second goal for the club against Norwich, and I'm just going to go and show you Stuart John's goal. He doesn't do simple ones, let's put it that way. Yet another screamer, and of course we have to show it on camera. So let's just wait for this to load up. We thought it had won us the game, but in the end it did just mean we got a replay, and it's the reason we're still in the cup now. So obviously Norwich gave it away at the back, poor mistake from them, but here we go with Stuart John on the half turn, and he's bent it into the bottom corner from 25 yards, and he scored another special goal, his second for the club, and it was just as good. But after that we did win 5-0 at home to Fulham. Maddie Keita with 4 goals in a game from midfield. Daniel Kozzel scored one from the left wing as well, but what a fantastic job our midfield's doing. They're scoring the amount of goals that our strikers should. Then at home to Wolves it was a bit less convincing. 1-0 at home, and it's Kozzel again. He's coming to the team for Boubacar Silla, who's still throwing a tantrum unfortunately, and he's got 6 goals in 12 starts in the league. He really has done a fantastic job. job. Then into February, we won the replay against Norwich. Diogo Sousa off the bench with a 91st minute winner, after Juan Manuel Ramos gave us an early lead, although we did look in trouble for large parts of the game. Then away to Reading, a performance of champions again. 2 first half goals, Hole and Cater yet again on the score sheet. Then Damian Brown got one back around the hour mark, and we managed to cling on for 3 points. And I guess that's where we've improved this season. We had a lot of 3, 4 and 5-0 wins in the past, but when we didn't win, we often got into these scrappy games, and those ones where we've been winning 1-0 or 2-1, we'd never managed to do so in the past. We'd often got pegged back or conceded late goals, and that's probably the thing I'm most proud of avoiding this year, as we really have that steely edge about us that suggests we could be Premier League champions. So we're into the Dortmund game today, and it is just Stuart John out injured. He wouldn't have featured anyway. We've got Yaladian back from his long-term injury, and he's picked up 1 or 2 assists off the bench. In terms of transfers, nothing really happened in January. It was a really quiet month despite a couple of unhappy players. Just Bulu, the youngster, going out on loan to Luton, our affiliate club of course, and he'll get some football there, so fingers crossed he'll do a good job for them. We've got one potential deal on the cards in the future, and it's a big one with pre-agreed for the summer, and it's Nsingi, a centre-half from Fulham, doing a good job in the Premier League this year, and we've agreed a deal worth £67.5 million for a wonder kid, and look at his physical attributes. Everything is 16 or above, and I'm really looking forward to him coming into the team. If he could head, he'd certainly be 5-star ability, but I think he's going to be an absolute monster for us. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does, and most importantly at 20 years of age, after 6 months with us next season, he'll be homegrown in the nation and not count as a foreign player towards our Premier League squads. But enough about off the pitch action. Of course, as I mentioned, we've got a big Premier League game coming up, and we're coming to that spell of awful games now. We've got Liverpool, Arsenal and City in succession, and in United just a couple of games later. So that City game will definitely be the next one on camera, as we're certainly going to be in for a title deciding clash. But let's go and look at this game against Dortmund. We're very slight favourites according to the media, and as I said, we need to go out and win this one comfortably, as in the second leg we want to play a reserve side. It is just 4 games before the City clash, so I'm not going to have a choice. If we want to win the Premier League title, we'll have to rest players in that one. But the first team get a chance to put the game beyond doubt tonight. They can win the tie in 90 minutes. We've got Stojanovic in goal as you'd expect, Cisse still in at right back as Richard Quirk's had a tantrum still, and Moraes is over on the left. We've got Hole who's performing brilliantly, he's alongside McDonnell in the middle, and then Bacanes in a holding role with Cater and Omar in central midfield, both now on 8 goals this season, and remarkably our joint top scorers, as we're really struggling in attack, and then Sousa and Kozol on the 2 wings, with Alex Andrade up front. So the £88 million man on the right wing, and the big signing from last summer on the left. Neither of them are getting into the side these days, they're sitting on the bench watching their colleagues perform. We've got the likes of Lapin, Yaladi and Silla and Rutherford if we need them, and then defensively the likes of Quirk and Raphael, with Mon-Iversen a centre-half option. But let's go and get into this game against Dortmund. We will do the first 5 minutes on a positive mentality, and then drop back if we need to. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Dortmund, and they've got some really top players in their side. I want to bring your attention to Heckin on the right wing. He's a player our scouts have looked at before, and he's got a scout summary of 91, a wonder kid at 19 years of age, scoring at 1 a game over 24 international caps for Germany under 21s. A really sensational prospect, and I think he's going to be a superstar for them, but hopefully we can keep him at bay today. He's not even playing in his preferred position though. Lindenarm's doing that, and here's a 24-year-old striker who's not actually quite as good. I thought he was going to be a superstar, but it turns out he's just a good player. But let's go and talk to the lads and tell them to prove a point. It's exactly what Stuart Jellings recommended, and we'll go and get into the first half via this tunnel interview of course. Just a short one for the Champions League, as Andrade's got the kick-off. We normally do drop to balanced away from home in Europe, but we'll give it 5 or 10 minutes first. As Sousa finds Omar, he's hit the crossbar with 15 seconds gone. It drops down for D'Angelo who picks it up. The goalkeeper with a stroke of luck there. A brilliant effort from Omar. Cisse heads the ball away to Sousa. It's the first minute and we're coming forward yet again. Bacanes in that holding role and Omar switches it to Kozol. ball. He knocks it down for Bruno Marais. Back to Omar again. Kozul inside to Andrade. Would have been a great time to end his goal drought, but a brilliant save from D'Angelo to his left, flying to tip the ball over the bar, and a short corner's taken to Sousa, but unfortunately it's been cleared away. A fantastic front-footed start from Torquay, and now we've got another corner with Omar. McDonald loses out at the back post. Perhaps to Cater on the edge of the area though, out to the right-hand side for Omar. He delivers to Andrade, knocked down for Cater who's in space. He finds Marais who shoots, and he's straight into the arms of the keeper. 3 good chances in the first 5 minutes, a brilliant start away from home at the level of the Champions League we've never played before. But now it's Dortmund at the other end. Their first chance from a set piece is a short corner and it's gone back out. A fantastic left-footed in-swinging delivery, but headed away from Hull to Sousa. Long ball into Andrade, one-on-one, it's a great save, and you just feel if he wasn't in the middle of a goal drought, he might well have scored that chance there. 4 in this game already for us, and with 20 gone we could live to regret it. The tie could already be out of sight, but as it stands it's still goalless on the night. And now it's Dortmund at the other end. First clear-cut chance. The corner bobbles around and it's put in from 6 yards, and we've regretted missing those 4 chances as Dortmund lead 1-0. Andrade wins it back high up the pitch though. Kozul crosses and it's deflected away. Lindehan, the goal scorer, charging down the right as Dortmund break again. Into the front post it finds Heckin. His shot straight at Stojanovic, but they're starting to come right into it now. The goal's given them lots of confidence. It's Marais with a throw at left back. Plays a 1-2 with Bacanes. Omar drops deep and finds Bacanes himself, and now out to Kozul on the left. Over halfway to Sousa. On the right byline, he can take on the fullback here, but he cuts inside and it finds Cater, though it's a poor pass and it's been cleared away. Dubin in on the left for Dortmund. Out to Rios in the centre circle. He finds Heckin on the right, who's got an overlapping fullback if needed. He's found him and his cross is deflected, and he's straight back into midfield. Dortmund moving forward yet again, and they're really starting to get on top now. One more chance on target and it'll be all level in the game. Lindehan with the free header, but it's into the arms of Stojanovic. Heckin charging forward again, the challenge has been made, and Kozul now coming forward as we try to protect the goal difference. Kozul with the ball through to Andrade though. Oh, it's a great save. Could have ended the goal drought for the second time tonight, but a brilliant save from D'Angelo to his left. Not the first time we've said that in this first half, and now he's made another one on the goal line, saves a header on the line, and McDonald slid in for the rebound, but unfortunately he was offside. It's Kozul coming forward again though. We really look fantastic, we just can't finish at the moment, and look what's happened, it's a carbon copy. Andrade shoots from the edge, and D'Angelo for the 3rd time down to his left makes an absolutely sensational stop. The corner's cleared away and it's out for a throw, and with 10 to the break we still trail 1-0, but I have absolutely no idea how. It's a throw at right back for Cisse. Down the line for Alex Andrade. He holds it up well and finds Cisse. Andrade unfortunate to have a poor rating again, but it's just because D'Angelo's been so good in goal. The ball's cleared away as far as Cisse, and he finds Bacanes in the centre circle. McDonald spreads it to Marais on the left. Drawing our chance down the other side now. Omar into Cater 30 yards out, and out to the right side to Cisse. Crosses from the byline as far as Kozul, but straight into the arms of D'Angelo. He's the best rated player on the pitch at the moment, and he's the reason Dortmund are ahead at half time. So there it is. How we trail at the break I'm not quite sure. The goalkeeper has been absolutely remarkable for Dortmund, and they've scored with their only chance at the other end, a bobble in from a corner. We've not defended set pieces, which will cost us, and if Andrade was in scoring form he'd probably already have a hat-trick. It's Rios on the centre circle, out to Heckin on the right. I hope we don't throw away all our good work by giving away a goal at the start of the second. It's deflected behind for a corner by Kozul, and Dortmund will take it an in-swinger. It's the left foot of Dubin in to deliver, into the back post, headed away as far as Heckin. His shot bobbles around but Bacanes clears, and with a couple gone in the second half, Dortmund are on the attack again. Back to the edge of the box to Shokri. His shot goes just wide of the post. Stojanovic didn't move, he wouldn't have got there, but luckily it wasn't on target. A quarter of the game to go and it's really quieting down here. Alex Andrade down to a 6.1. He's going to be replaced by Rutherford. Maddie Cater's not had a great game, so Dimitri Lapin will come on for him. And then at right back we're going to bring on Quirk for Cisse. He is the first choice right back, and if he wasn't sulking he'd be in the team. So let's see if he can make a difference going forward. 20 to go and we still trail 1-0. Dortmund look to have weathered the storm. It's a ball in from Martins to the box. Headed away as far as Lapin. Long down a line for Rutherford. Can he be a hero again? He's been dragged wide, but his cross is headed poorly. Souza shoots from the edge on the half volley. It's just wide of the post, but the keeper was scrambling. But in the end, his acrobatics weren't needed. 1 minute to go, we've demanded more from the lads. Omar puts the ball into the box, headed away as far as Lapin on the right hand side, who finds Richard Quirk at the back. His long ball forwards deflected into the keeper's arms, and there's not much we can really do about that. It's just been one of those nights. 2 clear-cut chances to 0. Now Omaruo nearly scores from miles out. That really would have compounded our misery, but in the end we haven't got the result that our performance has deserved on the night. It's Dubin in on the edge for Dortmund here. Omar wins it back. A fantastic game of football. We went toe-to-toe with Borussia Dortmund, and despite dominating the game and chances, we're unlucky to fall to a 1-0 defeat. And I think that's going to put us out of the Champions League. I can confirm our backup side will play the second leg. Hopefully they can put on a marvellous display. Otherwise it will be curtains to this competition. We've got 3 more big trophies to win in this series, and the best chance this year is the Premier League. So let's make sure we get that one over the line, and we can focus on the Champions League next year. But a really good effort, and on another day it could have been 3 or 4-0 to Torquay. Andrade vows to end his goal drought. It's now been 21 hours of competitive football, and that's only because we've taken him off in some games. It's been around 15 or 16 appearances. We'll deal with the press conference off camera as we put in a decent display. Of course our performance deserved a bit more, but look who that man of the match was. 12 saves for Hernan D'Angelo. Let's go and have a look at his ratings. He's not actually that good. He's got a few caps for Argentina. He's not their first choice, but maybe one of their second or third backup keepers, and he's a decent player across the board, but certainly not world class. Hopefully that means he won't do as well in the second leg, and with Rutherford up front instead of Andrade, maybe he'll be in slightly better form. Let's go and have a look at the competition screen though, just to see where we stand at the moment. We've got a big game coming up at the weekend, Arsenal away in the FA Cup. Based on normal circumstances in previous seasons, I would have shown you that game, but of course after winning the FA Cup last year, it's no longer one of our big objectives, and with 2 bigger competitions to feature in, we're going to play our backup side in that one. It's all about winning the Premier League now. We're in such a good position where we can't throw it away, and I've got to make sure we get through this next month where we play all of our top 7 rivals. But overall a really good European performance. Of course it's slightly unfortunate that a couple of players are still unhappy. Juan Manuel Ramos actually missed training in recent weeks, so he's definitely going to be going in the summer, as is Gabriel Recchio. Now we've managed to get a replacement in. Richard Quirk I'm a little bit annoyed about. Why he won't get rid of his unhappiness I don't know. It's been over half a year now, and I just wish he would end it for a couple of weeks so we could give him a big new deal and let him know that everything will be alright. We'd like him to be back in the first 11, but unfortunately we can't do that at the moment. Boubacar Silla's also unhappy. It's because Manchester City renewed their interest in him. Normally we'd have thought it would have ended by now, but with them, Arsenal and United all interested, I don't think his drop will end anytime soon. We did briefly look at a left winger in January, and we almost signed him in the end, but unfortunately it turned out that he was an inside forward, which didn't really suit our formation. So if we go and have a look at him, it was Christoph Hamann from Bayern Munich, had a release clause of 88 million, only wanted around 130 grand a week, which just about fits into our wage structure, and you can see he's a fantastic pro at just 24 years of age, but we can't be doing with a right footer who only wants to be an inside forward. I know we did it successfully in our other series, the head coach, particularly with teams like Napoli, but I don't want to take that risk again in this one, especially when things are going so well. We need to protect our fullbacks too, so no big signings for inside forwards. But let's finish on the schedule screen to see when we'll next be back. I think you all know which game it's going to be. First v second in the Premier League, are home to Manchester City. Of course, in the meantime, we've got Liverpool and Arsenal, as well as a big game in our other two competitions. So we could either be through in the Champions League and FA Cup and sitting comfortably at the top of the league, or we could be back with a narrow gap to City and out of every other competition. So I'm really hoping we can do something this season, and I really hope it's winning the Premier League title. But if we do start to fall away in that one, we've got to make sure we get through in another competition. So fingers crossed our backup team will do well in one of them, and we'll be able to get at least a point in the other two games to make sure it's not a dire situation or too nervous when we come back for the City game. But if you did enjoy this episode and what was actually one of our best performances of the season against Dortmund, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that game. For me, we were just incredibly unlucky, and we've got a striker who's horrifically out of form at the moment, otherwise we would have won it at a canter. You face a goalkeeper who has a game like that occasionally too, so I'm not too concerned based on that defeat, though it is our first in 23 games. The unbeaten run still continues in the Premier League though, although we've got the tough 4 games coming up again. The last one we lost in the league was away at Liverpool, so it could be that they do the double over us, and then we'll certainly be a bit nervous, and I might be a little more tense by the next episode. But let me know in the comments if you think we can get over the line, and hopefully we'll get someone special in our youth intake too. That should be around the time of the next episode. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this Torquay United story. Of course, we're on our new schedule with 5 episodes a week from it now, so every Sunday to Thursday at 4:30, which means the next one will be back tomorrow. If you've missed any of the new schedule so far, then do go back to the start of the season and catch up with all the videos last week. It has been a bit of a journey so far, and we've had some fantastic performances in there, as well as some particularly frustrating moments too. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone that continues to support that series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough we did beforehand. Of course, the Ashes are looking a bit better in real life at the moment, so fingers crossed that'll continue next week when England start the 4th Test at Old Trafford. But I really have been blown away by the support for those Cricket 19 series, so a massive thank you to everyone that's given it a try. And then finally we've got our Snooker 19 career. That's every Friday at 4:30. We're into the last event of the season and of the career. That's the Snooker World Championship, the big one to finish off the series, and hopefully we'll be able to go on a big run and make it all the way to the final. Can we emulate Ronnie O'Sullivan? Join me over the next few weeks to find out. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with this series. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a crucial episode as we could all but wrap up our first Premier League title. Can we get over the line against Manchester City, or will they catch us at the last minute just as they did last season?